afternoon and welcome everyone to the Uncensored live Q&A trading webinar. My name is Danny. This webinar is live. You are welcome to ask any questions you want along the way, regardless the topic that I'm teaching. Before we go ahead with the webinar, I'd like us to go through a quick sound check to make sure that the sound is in the proper level and the screen here is visible for everyone. So please use the comment section, the question section to comment that the sound is okay and that the screen here is visible. Thank you very much, Tobias. Okay, great, Lean. All right, so I will explain what will happen in the webinar and then we can hit the road. So the agenda is that first we're going to cover the previous questions that our team has prepared. It will look like this. And on the second part will be, we're going to have the dynamic questions, which as I said, we have here. Okay, great. I'm happy that everything is okay. Like I said, we're gonna have the questions that I'm gonna write down. So those are questions that I'm gonna receive with you guys live. Hopefully we have time to answer everything. This is the third part. Okay, so the third part is a little more informative in regards to the links that I'm gonna send you here. And lastly, we have here analysis. I hope you understand that those examples can help us teach you technical analysis right here, and what's here at the bottom is more fundamental analysis wise. Okay, it's important to know that any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only. It should not be constructed or applied as an investment advice, recommendation, or a suggestion. I almost forgot to say that the webinar is recorded. Okay, guys, so even if you didn't understand something or you just want to review it later on, you're more than welcome to check our channel and hopefully it will be uploaded today. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that the webinar is recorded. Just going to take me a few moments and I'll be back and we will begin. Thank you very much. Great, so everything seems in order. We're going to begin, like I said, with the previous questions. So we're just going to review them one by one. The first one is, let's see, is AvaTrade offering any promotions? Okay, all right, that's an excellent question. The second one is, how should I place my take profit and stop loss? Okay, no problem. How I have the general concept, how can I improve my trading skills? Okay, and that's good. Can we get signals from AvaTrade? That's also a good question. And what is position exposure to overall exposure? Okay, all right, excellent. So we are going to begin, I guess, with the first. Okay, we are going to also drag down here the right here the notepad. We're simply going to paste the question here. Perhaps this should be this way, right? Okay, so does AvaTrade offering any promotions? Right, so the answer is, as far as I'm concerned, there are some promotions, but I'm gonna write down right here, contact your senior account manager to check if there is a promotion, and if we have a promotion, if you can qualify. Okay, how should I place my take profit and stop loss? That's another question, a very good question. We're going to paste it up here and we will see. First of all, let's understand what take profit and stop loss are, okay, before we carry on. Okay, so among the regular orders, we have regular orders, buy and sell. Okay, let me show you with the Australian versus Japanese yen. This is, guys, the web trader. This is how it looks like by default, okay? But if I already decided that I want to carry on with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here on the two tiny arrows, okay, that's pointing outside, and I'm simply going to expand the chart all the way up. Here I can click sell or buy to open the sidebar to the right. Okay, and then I see 4 boxes. Ava protect, execute when price hits, take profit and stop loss. Okay, right now if I'm not gonna use any of them and I click buy, what will happen is I'm gonna execute a buy position with Australian versus Japanese yen. I'm gonna launch a buy, and my intention is that this currency will go higher, right? The value will increase. Okay, if it goes down, I'm gonna have a loss. When I'm selling, it's vice versa. My intention is value will decrease. If God forbid it goes up, I will have a loss. Okay, now I'm not obligated to take the position on this price. I have here 3 pending orders. Those pending orders are going to stay on the chart, okay, and they will be automatically, just a second, I want to write down the whole 3 and then we will explain what they are doing. It will be easier for us to comprehend also where to locate where to place them on the chart. So the execute when price hits, again, those are, let me just write it down as well. Pending orders. Pending orders means that I can place them on the chart. This is the price that the platform will remember. And reaching that price will grant me certain profit or loss. Okay. Let's suppose I'm gonna go with this. And we're gonna go with that. Okay, and just like that, we can see that we are expecting the Aussie to go higher. Okay, I can also change the time frame. And the question here refers to 2 of the pending orders, but I'm going to explain to you what the third, maybe the first one does, and them as well. So the way that I can, but this might take us a little time, this currency, because we have to interpret the results as well to dollar, because our account is in dollar. And we are going to pick something a little more physical. It will be easier for us to teach you that. Let's go with silver, I guess. Okay. And as I explained, those pending orders are prices that stays on the chart, and they will be automatically triggered when when the price reaches them. So for instance, if the price now is 22.6 and I wanted to get to 20, let's say 3.6, just for the sake of the discussion, and this one will be I'm placing it randomly, and later on we'll see if we're doing it correctly or not. Okay, just a second, we're gonna adjust it a little bit. Now, so as I said, and this one as well. So let's begin with this one. So execute when price hits. For more veteran clients, we used to have a pending buy and a pending sell, right? That's for MetaTrader users. Now, a pending buy will be when I'm placing, so let's suppose I want to buy at okay, let's say here. Okay, let's suppose that I want to buy it here, right at the support line, one of the support lines. Okay, so this is my buy target. Let's paint it this way. Let's see if we can also get one of the, okay. Okay, and I'm simply gonna, so what will happen is, if I'm with a buy, you gotta be careful with that, because that's gonna be according to what is presented here. So if it's gonna be a sell, it will launch a sell. If it's a buy, it will launch a buy. Okay, there is no way for me to define on the pending order itself. Okay, it's based on that. Now, if I'm with a buy, and I'm planning to buy here at 22, that means that if it gets to 20, oh, sorry, change that. If it gets to 22, but by the way, I just want to clarify so people won't be confused. The line that I've placed here is not the pending order. Okay, this is the correlative line for me to see the levels visibly. You gotta change it here. You gotta change it here. Okay, I don't know if you saw that I clicked on the box and then I changed it to 22. That's not because of that line. Place as many lines as I want. That doesn't mean anything. Now, if I targeted 22 and I am busy, okay, I have to go to work. I'm not going to wait until it's going to get to 22. So the beauty about using a pending order, which is a huge time saver, is if it gets to here, it's going to launch the position automatically. Okay, this way I can be safer, and this way I can optimize my entry if I want to. Now, how can I know, now going back to the original question, right? So the original question was how can I place the take profit and the stop loss? Okay, I guess that the question, it's not about the functionality of the things, is not physically how to place them, it's to know how to do it correctly, okay, how to place them correctly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna compare the price that we targeted, which is 22, and we're gonna simply take $1, no, not $1, let's say half a dollar up, okay, from the price that we targeted, and we're gonna take half a dollar down. Oh, sorry, so that means, there we go. And what will happen is 22.5, that's almost where we are at right now. Okay, and 21.5, that's where here. Right, so I'm gonna tell you about those lines. It can get pretty funky when you're trying to place them physically with your hand. They're gonna mess around with you, not letting you the exact number. You see what's happening down here? So what I can do, if I want to be precise, is I can simply click it, go to its coordinates, as you can see here, and place 21.5. And it will jump down to where I wanted with, let's paint it maybe in red. This one is gonna go green. This one, let's change it, even though it's less than a penny. Okay, and now we are pretty much clear. Now, what we did is we placed it half a dollar up and half a dollar down, because where we are with a buy, and we want to know if this positioning is okay. How can we know? Now, as you can see, one of the unique things in our platform is that it lets you predict the potential profit or loss. Okay, and that helps me understand if the proportions of this position make sense to me or not. Right, so if I'm looking to make a certain amount, I already see that I can adjust my lot size, right? Let's make it 0.2, then it becomes 1,000. The comparison that we're making here is between the length of my entry. So you can see 22 versus half a dollar up, because I'm with 1,000 units, $1,000, 1,000 multiply half brings me to 500. Okay, that's because one lot equals 10,000. We're not getting into that now. It's not necessary and not relevant. And if I'm looking analysis-wise, if I want to place it analysis-wise, and I want to make sure that this is a good place for a stop loss as an example, so I can look at 2 levels, maybe many more than just 2, but I wouldn't want to burn our precious time on a single question, so we are going to have to settle with maybe just 2 levels. We like the mustard color. Okay, so bottom lines are called support line. As you can see, this is a support line, and that is a support line, and that is a support line. All those nice little edge points in here, obviously. Okay, and the higher points are called resistance. Now, why did I mark this one as resistance? Okay, when actually the resistance people are going to say, Danny, the resistance and over here. Okay, well, could be, right? There are many resistance level, okay, along the way. And if I'll change the time frame, I can find even more. But again, it's not necessary. Okay, so you can say, listen, if we're gonna buy here and it drops down below the support line, I think that this is a good place to stop the position, because if it carry on down, the next level is here. Okay. If I get to here, I'm gonna lose a big chunk, much bigger chunk, right? 3 times as much, right? So, and I don't like it. So let's suppose that I want to keep it this way. But even if I wanted to take this price, because for some reason I feel more secure at the next line, I can still adjust it with the lot size, and the more I'll reduce it, the more my possible loss will be. Therefore, if I'm placing it here, it makes sense. This question I cannot give a definitive answer and tell you, listen, this is a formula. With this formula, you're gonna perfect your take profit and stop loss. It's all based on a strategy and eventually those percentages that you decide for yourself. Okay, now if I'm looking at this price, it looks like I took a little lower than the current support line. Okay, as you can see, the price is still here. It's not where we marked. So potentially if it gets to here, makes sense that if it carries on up, I do have a reason to close it with the profit that I wanted. And because I see that recently it's been through the price, it makes sense to keep it this way. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty much it. It's very simple. You can place them where you want and adjust it by the lot size and see the potential possible profit and possible loss. Do we have any questions about that one, guys? Anybody? Even though it was very, very simple, but still, any questions? Yes. Phil, you're asking if this will work with something else. The answer is yes. You can try it with anything else and it will work similarly. We always look at the possible profit and stop loss based on the price difference and the lot size. This will never change. Okay. Okay, so let's put the answer down. So how should I place my take profit? You can make comparison between the length of your entry to your target price and see the possible profit or loss. Can also compare the possible loss and possible profit and adjust it to your desired risk reward ratio. Okay, right. And as I showed, all you have to do is to reduce or increase your lot size, and then you can see on the platform the results. Okay, let's see. I have general concept, how I improve. Oh, I love those questions. Right, so what this question is really asking us, okay, I have the general concept, how can I improve? So guys, let's suppose you've learned this part. Let's suppose you have this part covered, have this, so we call it the 4 ingredients approach. Okay, and now you want to, let me get this question, paste it up here. Right, so as you know, there are probably a few good thousands of strategies. Okay, they're all divided to 3 types. Those types are scalping, intraday, and swing. Okay, it comes down, everything at the end of the day comes down to reward, risk reward, profit, and loss. Right, even though it's the other way around, maybe reward will be profit, never mind. But as long as I have the general concept, okay, and I can decide also if I want to trade single or diverse. If I go with let's suppose that I'm not into intraday trading. I don't have time for that. I don't have money for that. Whatever you want to say. Okay, I just want to swing with a single stock. Okay, let's suppose. And I can go here, go for a nice Tesla as an example. I don't know if they're nice anymore. I think they took quite considerable hit, right? And I gotta say that the person behind the idea, Mr. Elon Musk, is a very interesting person. Very, very colorful person. To my personal opinion, he might be a genius. And we are now looking at, let me get it a little smaller. Can we do it? It's messing around with us. Never mind. So we are looking at a picture here. You definitely don't need to know what I did for the time being. You don't need to know that. We're just going to cover here the question. I have the general concept. How can I improve my trading skills? Okay, and now I'm just explaining. There is no need to know. Now, but just to put on the table, so you want to be confused. Here there are peaks of drastic changes. As you can see here, it went bearish by my approximation, approximately $70, bounced almost all the way up. Then it did similar, and we have here a similar segment. Maybe I should put it here, and this one goes a little back. Okay, there is a nice reversal here, a nice reversal here. Okay, now what we're looking at is the last time that it's been this low. As you can see, it goes a little back, right? Let's see, yeah, that was, when was that? That was May, right? So if I'm looking at the monthly candles, that's been approximately a few good months, right? Almost a year. I don't want to say a year, 3 quarters. Now, how is this any help? How is this any help to improve the skills? Because once you have the general idea, and you have, whether if it's single, whether if it's diverse, it doesn't really matter. Once you have something that works systematically, from there you can either multiply or you can evolve. You can say, let's suppose that I have Tesla going well. Okay, I'm making whatever money I'm making. Great, I can improve. I can take maybe another asset. I can maybe increase my lot size with Tesla. Can do many things. Okay, or I can stay with it and go to trade something else. So let's say one of the strategies I'm using, this may be the time frames that we are looking at and the way that I've placed it, maybe that suits for swing. Okay, you may say that, but let's suppose that I took something else. Okay, whether if it's a commodity, whether if it's an index, it doesn't really make a difference. As long as I have the general concept and I'm making profits, great. I can evolve in one of those criteria. I can either switch to another I can either add in parallel another asset on the same strategy. I can either improve with another strategy. That means that now I'm swinging and I want to try intraday at the same time or something else. Or I can change. I don't have to change. I can decide about if I go single with one asset or more. Now, all of those things, the strategy here, single or diverse, all of those things can be profitable and can be great. They are all. There is no scalping is better than swing, or intraday is better to do it single than diverse. No, they all have their own variations. And this is why there's so many strategies, right? Many strategies, hundreds, maybe thousands. So how can you improve? So there are a few things. There is risk money management. There is analysis. Usually it's written this way. Don't want to mislead anyone. We're going to put it the right way. We have risk money management, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and budget comparison. Now, this is not a very familiar topic. Not a lot of people talking about it, but I think that it should be on the table. Budget comparison basically saying if I can make the same amount with an asset that cost me less margin, perhaps I should consider it. Okay, risk money management, that's self-explanatory. We don't have to have a too comprehensive explanation about that. Risk money management basically means that I have a certain amount. If things doesn't go as I plan, I know that I'm covered and I can carry on with ease. I don't blow out the account or anything like that. Okay, that looks a bit, did I click on something? Just a second, it seems like my screen is a little bigger than, just a second guys. Looks a bit different, but I'm not sure what's wrong here. Just a second. Oh well. As long as you can see the chart. Okay, so as I was saying, the way to improve, just to master all those things. Okay, doesn't matter how long it will take, but as long as you have consistent profit, you're happy and satisfied with the amount. And yeah, later on you can carry on with ease until you have one of those strategies, either scalping or intraday or swing or diverse or single, and you have those things understood, at least to a point that you can have a good grip on it, then I think you need to work out the general concept and only then to improve. Improve means all those things are well composed. Okay, well done. Okay, I hope that this helps somehow. Let me just write down a couple of things. Maybe at the presentation that we have, I'm simply gonna paste it somehow. Do you want to believe everything is gonna be in the presentation and we're not gonna have anything slipping away? Okay, now it's the moment of truth. Okay, I mistyped it. Sorry. Okay, you guys seeing how many things I'm putting down. So if I'm not doing something correctly, okay, can we get signals from AvaTrade? Yes. Okay, so the answer is can we get signals? So let's go through the signals, okay, which can be easily found here at the left upper corner. Well, not exactly. Actually, it's in the middle of the toolbar. Sorry, just a second. Okay, so I think that everything is all right now. I don't know what I clicked to throw me out. Okay, but now it seems fine. We're going to carry on with ease with this question. Can we get signals from AvaTrade? And what we're going to do is simply click here in the middle of the toolbar on signals. And we can see here lists of many signals. Okay, we're just going to pick one, say crude oil as an example. Yeah, I noticed it disappeared for me as well. This is why I took a moment to fix it for you guys. I don't know what I did to make it this way. Okay, so crude oil, as we can see, is the signal that I choose. I click here again to expand the chart to see it all the way up. I see that the validity here is daily, so I'm just going to adjust it from 1 minute to 1 day. I think that I gave you this webinar yesterday, but well, okay, so crude oil is analyzed. As you can see, the signal here is presented very nicely. It's by the Trading Central. We can see here that we have a sell scenario, we have a buy scenario. Just to quickly recap, when I'm buying something, my intention is it will go higher. When I'm selling something, my intention is that it will go lower, and so on. When I'm buying something and it goes down, I'll have a loss. And when I'm selling something and it goes up, I'll have a loss. You can see that this signal is technical analysis based, and we have support and resistance here simplified on the chart. There are certain levels that we can adjust and analyze thanks to that. What can be the potential certain levels that we have? Okay, so for instance, if I'm looking at this scenario, it seems like support and resistance makes sense to me. I can go in the buy, and then I can say, okay, the possible profit is presented, as I said, based on the length between the opening to the target price. So for instance, if I am buying now 76.06 and it goes up to 76.75, I'll make $71. Why is that? Because I have 100 barrels. How can I know how many barrels I have? Because it's written down here under amount lot. If I want to make if I want to see what's the size of this lot, I can do one of two things. A, I can click here on the instrument details and see that the lot size is 1,000. That means that when I'll have here 1,000 barrels, I have one lot, it will be 1,000 barrels. Or I can simply do what I just did. I just erased it and placed one, right? And this will work with any other asset. When I'm placing one lot, it's going to show me how much one lot is. Now, why is that important? Because of what I just explained. When I have, oh, it took away our take profit and stop loss. Okay, and now you also understand what the take profit and the stop loss are, as I have explained. When I am looking at take profit is going to close my position with the profit, stop loss is going to close my position automatically with a loss. So as I said, why do I need to know one lot if it's 100 or 200 or 1,000 and who cares? The reason is because this has direct impact on my possible profit and loss. So for instance, if I have 1,000 barrels, okay, and then I see, now this is one of the things that you need to take care of when picking a signal, because the signal doesn't decide for you your lot size. It just decides this take profit and the stop loss. How to decide what is the lot to choose based on the balance we have? Could be, but as I have explained 2 questions ago, it's also based on what you want. Farhan, it's basically based on what you want to achieve, and you can adjust it to what you're planning to achieve. If this is sufficient for me, maybe I don't have to adjust it. If I want to make more, I'll increase the lot size. If I want to make less, planning to make less, I can decrease the lot size. Now, as I was about to explain, the signal here doesn't choose the lot size, and this is the reason why I'm showing you that. But what it does is it lets you in advance, it lets you automatically places your take profit and stop loss in certain proportions. You can see here the reason, right? Was based on support and resistance. Those are support and resistance. And this can be either a buy or a sell scenario. I'm with a sell, possible loss 64, possible profit 61. Okay. What else I can say about the signals? There's not much to say, to be honest. There's not much to say. Just pay attention to the signal you're picking. There's certain signals that is not valid anymore. So you can see the ripple here is not valid. Let's see why. Because it already reached a certain level, right? So yeah, it's give or take about that. I don't think, again, we need to go too far with the signals. It's not the webinar for that. So can we get signals? The answer is yes, yes, the signals section is accessible via the web trader. Oh, I mistyped it as well. Signals. Web trader via the web trader, or by clicking on the tiny blue lightning icon. 2D, which side is that? Let me go out and show you that as well. Right, so you can see there is a blue lightning icon here. That's to the right side, I guess. Tiny blue lightning icon to the right of your symbol. Okay. Oh, provided, nearly forgot. Provided Trading Central. Very, very good. Oh, I nearly forgot to ask, guys. Do we have any questions till now? Any questions? Beside Matthew in the beginning. Matthew, I hope that you're happy. You asked about strategies. I almost forgot, but I just realized that I did explain about strategies on the second question, on the third question, right? I forgot about this. I hope, Matthew, if you're still here. Okay. Feel free, guys. Like I said, if you have any more questions, I'm happy to answer. Okay, so our previous question is, what is the position exposure to overall exposure? This looks to me, but maybe it's supposed to be this way. What is position exposure and overall exposure? Okay, well, we'll explain them both anyway. We're gonna have them both, and we will explain them both. So, okay, let's pick something from the Forex, maybe. Maybe one of the majors. Maybe this one. Yes, should be. Oh, there we go. What a lovely, lovely structure. What a beautiful structure. You guys seeing this? Look at that. All right. Let's see the question here. Right. Position exposure and overall exposure. So the way that this works, as I have explained on the previous question, very, very simple. The exposure is determined by making comparison between my balance and what I can lose. So for the sake of the example, we're going to go with 0.1. We're going to reduce. Are we with a buy? Yeah, we are. Let's stay with a buy just a second. Yeah. Yeah, let's stay with a buy for the time being. Okay, so we are with a buy. We have here 0.1. Simply going to take this guy a little higher, this guy a little lower. Okay, now because I've removed, I moved the price here by 100 pips up. What is exactly, just to clarify, okay, maybe there are beginners, or just to clarify, what is this 1.25559? What is exactly that value? Well, what it stands for? That's how many dollars I need for 1 pound. Okay, 1 pound equal to 1.2555 $3. Okay, so that obviously that means that the pound is stronger. This is always this is the primary currency. Always, so that means if it goes up, that means that a pound is strengthening. If it goes down, that means that the dollar has weakening, if it goes down, that means that the pound has weakening or the dollar has strengthened against the pound. Okay, now what we're looking at. Okay, so this, let's recap just the question. I don't want to drift. Okay, what is the position exposure and overall exposure? Okay, so position exposure and overall exposure. Okay, that means balance minus loss equals exposure. Example, $10,000 minus $1,000 equals 10% exposure. What is the difference between this and overall exposure? That means balance says, right? Balances minus loss. Oh, sorry. That's what I wanted to put down. Equal exposure, and that's overall exposure. In other words, 10,000 minus, God forbid, let's say, let's go with 200, 300, let's say 100, and 700. Okay, so this is 2%, 3%, 10%, and 7%. Right. In other words, what we have here is, let's do it together, 2, 3, 7, right. So that comes down to 2,300. Okay. That's my overall exposure, which stands for 23%. Is that, guys, understood? The way, how simple that is, it can blow your mind, right? Is this understood? Do we understand what's happening here? Now, why is that important to have a total exposure predetermined and to have an exposure predetermined? What difference does it make? As long as I can survive, right? Why does it make any difference if I'm exposed 10% or 20% or 30%, right? It's not that I can lose all of those positions. Well, first of all, I can. And secondly, if I schedule this in advance, I know how to prepare myself in case I'll need to do something as an addition. So let's suppose, obviously 10% again, I'm not gonna recommend any of those things that I wrote down because everybody has their own exposure. And somebody can say, I like to be exposed no more than 1% per position. Then you know, okay, I'm extremely cautious. With $10,000, I know that I can trade 100 positions before I wipe out my account. And then you know that you're not going to be left, how many we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is my whole exposure. Oh, sorry, that needs to be 4%, which stands for $400. Okay? What's the opposite of position exposure and overall exposure? Making profits. Yeah, it will work exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. So profit, you have the position profit. Again, we're not doing the position profit and overall profit because we call it overall gain. And it's a little, the idea stays the same. Everything stays the same as I've explained here. But the thing is that when you're making profits, you can do it for the whole the time that you want. So let's say my monthly goal can be, let's say, $4,000. Okay, weekly that comes down to 1,000 as an example. And if I trade oftenly 4 positions a week, I'll aim for 1,000 divided by 4. I'll aim for $250 per position. Okay, it works similarly, but not exactly the same. I hope you can see the difference. I almost forgot to write here. Profit. Profits. My overall profit goal, right? So this is what I'm planning to make, and this is how I manage my risk. Okay, I determine, and then I'll know, okay, if this position succeeded, I know that I can expose myself to another position, another 1%. Okay, as long as I've made profits and none of this has happened, I didn't lose, then I can open another position with ease. Okay, I know that I'm not gonna exceed my, let's suppose that my that 5% is the max I want to jeopardize at the same time. Okay, so that means this is as far as I'm willing to go, let's suppose. Okay, and unless I've made profit on one of this position, I'm not gonna open another one. Okay, does this make sense? Does this make any sense? Let's hopefully, I did it this way so you guys can see it, right? But you don't have to write it the way that I did it. If you prefer to write it in another way. Just a second, we're gonna somehow we're gonna place it into the presentation. Pleasure. Question here. Matthew, another question. How can we know which direction to take? Well, for that you don't need me to know which direction to take. You need an angel, because nobody can tell you which direction to take, Matthew. So sorry for maybe the blunt answer, but at the end of the day, you need to. Nobody can know. We're always doing analysis in order to get as close as we can to knowing, but nobody can know exactly what will happen. We have logic in certain things, so we can understand, okay, if the interest rate, actually we're not going to go with the interest rate, let's talk about something else. Let's say that the employment rate came very positive in US as an example, and now we're looking at the pound versus US, right? So this is the prime currency, and I just, on every Friday of the month, you have non-farming payroll. This non-farming payroll is actually simplifying how well the economies went through from applying new jobs, excluding agriculture jobs, farmers and whatnot. And this is excellent news for US economy to know that there are more jobs supplied. Let me perhaps show you that. I really hope, oh, sorry, calendar. Frankly, I don't know if we have the time for that, but at least we're gonna try. That's for sure. What's February? This is our last. See, that was 2 weeks ago. Right, so as you can see, this is way beyond, just a second. Yeah, this is way beyond before, right? The before one was half of that. Oh, sorry, that's the forecast. That's the forecast. The previous was, but it was revised. But it's still higher. It's still much higher. It's still much higher, as you can see here, than the forecast. Forecast was 175,000. Okay, this is excellent news for US. Now, why am I showing you this when we looked at GBP USD? Because, as I have explained, when this asset fluctuates downwards, that means either that the pound is weakening against the dollar or that the dollar has strengthened against the pound. So if this is excellent news for US, there is nothing on the horizon maybe it's a little harsh, but let's say that US has very good news and pound don't have such good news at that time. What can we see that the market is doing? Okay, is it a formula? Will it work all the time? Does it work as we expect all the time? The answer is no. Okay, the answer is no. But as I said, Matthew, if you do your analysis, you should be, usually it turns out okay. If you don't do any analysis at all, you're not going to get close to figure the direction to trade. I hope it helps. I hope it helps. I hope you didn't hope to hear from me any magical formula, but we can never know the direction, so I'm sorry. Okay, great. But at least the tools that we're giving you, support resistance and analysis, I do recommend you to visit Mr. Troy's trade webinar. He's amazing with fundamental analysis. When you combine all together, support resistance, fundamentals, good risk money management, everything we basically taught you here today, then you should be able, what was the definition from before? The general concept, right? You're going to have the general concept. You're going to have it going, and then you can just carry on with ease and improve. Okay, but by then, this is what I would begin with. Okay, let's paste that down here. Oh, okay, something happened, but we shouldn't be afraid. Yeah, there are many things. There are many things. Hopefully I can unify one of the lines, which looks a bit different. Something made it very small, right guys? You're also seeing it very small like me? Barely see anything. What about now? There we go. I see. See, I've made a mess. Yeah. Well, it appears that my explanation here was a bit too long than what I thought. Well, I guess I don't know if this is understood this way. Position exposure. That's not how it's supposed to be. Position exposure equals balance minus loss, and overall exposure equals balance minus losses. All existing positions losses. Well, I hope that this makes sense, but unfortunately I can't write it otherwise, and we don't have the time anyway. Okay, so we are going to share with you guys those wonderful links for you to enjoy, save you the trouble to look for further education, here to log in and make a deposit, here for the, I wish I had this yesterday. Many clients asked about how to make a deposit with this links. It's very helpful. So this is for the FAC and Health Centric. This is for a real account, whoever is still playing with the demo. And that's for the Academy, but I'm going to show you now how to access the Academy from our from here. Oh, I almost forgot to say. I always forget to say this because this is so natural to me. This is the web trader, guys. to access to see this platform, all you have to do is just to log in with your email and password. Nothing special. You don't need to download or install anything. It may be the desktop version, but we also have it in the app, and it's called AvaGo, and it's amazing. Okay, with similar features. Yeah, one more thing I wanted to do before we say goodbye is to give you, let me show you the Academy, almost forgot. You see here, there are tutorials in Academy. If I click on Academy, it sends me right here, and the tutorials will be presented right here, and it's going to show us all kind of things, different layout, lot size trading, and so on. Okay, and before we say goodbye, I'm going to give you this lovely special promotion code with a Q&A benefit to give your senior account manager and get your own 1MR premium market review. Paste it in the chat. All right, so guys, we have 1 minute left. Anybody wants to take advantage and share with us something before we say goodbye? Can AvaTrade help me trade? Well, there is a question here from Anar. Anar, you want somebody to help you to trade. I do suggest to ask for a senior account manager, which is a person that basically this is what they're doing. They're assisting you with trading. So just ask for a senior account manager. You should be fine. Right, guys, I think we had everything we wanted to cover today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for participating and assisting me with your wonderful question, guys. So I wish you best of luck, make a lot of profits. Have a good day.